Feels so good today. There is big time love in this studio today. Sitting across from me is a hunk of love. Hunk of love. You're listening and watching the Yeah Come On show, brought to you by Oxygen Financial with 2 locations in the Atlanta metro. You can head into Buckhead or come right here where we film. And this is our studio in the lovely Alpharetta. As for Ted Jenkins, just go to oxygenfinancial.net. My co-host, Brett Barney, ready to rock, I can tell.
Always.
You got a seriousness about you today. You're feeling good because we got a little jockocracy going on. You can smell the man juice. Maybe I shouldn't have put it that way. Sorry.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah. And then we got our off air, sometimes on air, but always off camera most of the time. And he is also a producer. Thank you, Tyler Maynard. And we'll get to our special guest here in a second. But as always on the Yeah Come On show, we have a little housekeeping to do. And this is based on anybody that loves this show. And we like to call them the Come Oners.
Yeah. And it's also a segment where I get to prove that I have the ability to read. All right. So first off, these are some of our comments post last week's show. We'll run through them. The Come Oners. This one's from Scorphead72. Okay, so I just watched the show, and it was the best yet. Natalie is not only a 10 for her beauty, but her personality seemed genuine and very cool. I know of Brett from Talk Radio, and I only know of Steve from everyone on that station talking about him. Just wanted to tell you guys that the two of you, this is the best show, and it's the greatest show you've had. I hope it blows up. It's all good.
Thank you.
That's just a bunch of love.
Yeah, that is.
People don't get this. I want people to destroy us.
No, I don't want to be destroyed. I catch enough hate on my real job. I got no problem with love here, and it's the real us, and I dig that. And you're right, Natalie Fultz last week, my gosh, she is part of Good Day Atlanta, and we had her in here, and a lot of people had nice things to say about her and her body.
All right, the next one comes from Jape Pop, Jayp Pop. Man, I don't even listen to the morning show anymore. Like the natural, Steve. Good job, guys. P.S. Brett, stop bitching.
Yeah, Brett, I'm really cool.
I don't know what I did.
No, here's the deal. I'm really cool to be around, and you should just not bitch about it. Just love, baby.
D. Mackey wrote, Southside should send a handwritten letter once a week to Woodford. I believe they listen to the podcast. They dig y'all and what y'all are doing, and letters would be a nice touch. If the character Andy Dufresne could get a whole damn library sending letters from Shawshank Redemption, the fake movie,
I wonder where they were going with that.
Could probably get a few bucks from Woodford in real life.
You're right. If I harassed them and sent them a letter, first off, they'd be shocked that I sent them a letter because I don't think anybody sends.
Write.
Yeah, that I can write. Nobody. You know what? I'll send them a nice cursive letter begging Woodford Reserve to basically sponsor this show. Not that Oxygen Financial isn't doing a fine job; they always will. But my God, wouldn't it be nice to have those guys as a sponsor?
I wouldn't mind. They could join the hook some Come Oners up and
let's drink some Woodford to Woodford. And
get me away from this hard seltzer.
Yeah, baby. Anything else?
I just have 2 more I'm going to knock out. One's from Brandon the Beer Guy. What's up, bro? Great show, fellas. Minus Steve's tomato character on the last episode. You put the over-under for Steve's push-ups at 53 and a hook. What would his over-under be for sit-ups? I'll take the under. How many sit-ups can you do?
I don't know about that. I can do push-ups, bro. You can talk to our guest here in a second. He's done his fair share of exercises, but I will tell you that...
how many crunches? How many sit-ups? Brandon's a military guy, though.
Who does sit-ups, man? No, I mean, you should. I could do 20, no problem. The gut's getting... Have you seen it? I'm looking better.
But you say you can do 100 push-ups without stopping. That's a joke.
No.
There's no way.
That can be done. That's going to be done on this wood table here. I'm going to do it in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to show you what I can do.
Tyler, get ready to edit a lot of that one. All right, finally, the last one comes from Carrie Hunt. Steve, it's sisters-in-law, not sister-in-laws.
Oh.
Love the show. Also, love Terminus.
All right, Terminus. That is
That's me just trying to pimp us.
No, I want to mention that quickly. Terminus is a podcast we're doing for Cumulus where we work, and it is the stories of Atlanta. And Brett is a wonderful writer and producer of that, and I'm the host. And we would love for you to tune in to Terminus. Those podcasts run about 25 minutes. This one runs an hour and a half to 2 hours. Today, because of our guest, an hour and 10 because he's got places to be, and he might kick my ass. There. Now it is time to meet our guest. Do you have any kick-ass music for this guest? Anything cool?
I got some 80s NFL theme if you want.
You know, that would be nice. Why not play some 80s NFL music?
On point. There you go.
There we go.
Oof, that's
Today's-
rough. It's old for sure.
I like it. I'm Howard Cosell, damn it. Today's guest, another fellow member of the media, but he's done so much more than that. He's a Rose Bowl champ. He's an All-American at UCLA. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Don't know that that's true. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's also a 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's also a 3-time father. I know that one. If you've ever smelt Joe Montana's finger, you might know him well. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Cross.
Thank you. Thank you so little.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know if you'd read all that.
I did. And I was reading through it and I dig it until I'm like, I don't think Randy bowls. And if he does, I don't think he's an all-pro bowler.
Brett's just going to
little
start
bit-
to write things down to see if you read them
Oh,
out.
I will read any of it. I knew he's got 3 kids.
Little different bowl.
Yeah. 3 bowler. Okay, I was thinking bowling, like the
No,
pins.
Pro Bowl.
I know.
Come
Having
on.
fun. I'm doing what I do. You do
Make
what
good
you
jokes.
do. Look, that was a pretty good joke. I didn't think he bowled, but he is a 3-time Pro Bowler. It was always in Hawaii for you too, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was the real Pro Bowl back then before they decided. Well, they initially screwed around with it, and it traveled, usually on the West Coast, Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, whatever. But lately in Orlando, really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
That's lame. Is that for the kids?
Do they put you up in a hotel, or do everybody get their own trailer?
I mean, it is lame. Do you
Disney, come on. I've never even been. I bet it's cool.
look?
What, to Disney?
Yeah.
No,
Orlando.
You go to Hawaii,
It's
dude.
hot, it's hot as balls, covered with kids.
Oh, I assume Hawaii's hot as
and
balls and covered in kids.
crowded is crazy. Well,
Yeah.
Hawaii, no, you can get away.
Yeah, depending
It's a
what
whole-
island you go to, for sure.
It's a whole different form of recreation over there.
How many times you been laid in Hawaii?
Every time I got off the plane.
Yeah.
You're on fire today,
See?
Steve. You're on fire today.
I got game. I got game.
Drink more.
Randy
Set him up for that one.
Randy knew I wasn't talking about his lovely wife. Now, for you being on this podcast, I just want to tell you that it is a personal favor. I had a chance to meet you back in 2005 when I was on 96 Rock, and you were on WGST here in Atlanta. And Tim Rhodes and I were doing Southside and Rhodes. Don't get nervous. I'm not bringing Tim back. You're okay. But no, we loved you. You were the coolest dude in the building, and Randy would come in and just shoot the shit with us and just hang out.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I had the mishap at least the bad fortune of actually doing better on GST than the Braves did.
Yeah.
So they got rid of me. They paid too much for the Braves. So
They're like, uh-oh, we got troubles.
How come people are listening when the game's not on? That's
Yeah.
not good.
Not good at all.
We'll do replays.
Yes. And the other reason to have you on is because Bailey and Southside on Rock 100.5, my morning show, you worked with Bailey for a year at the game.
Yeah, I sure did. It was a lot of fun. It was a whole morning or a whole year of Jason in the morning.
Yeah.
It was he's an interesting guy.
He is.
Yeah, now that he's kind of a full-time domesticated, dad with his own rental property and
Yeah.
all that stuff, I'm sure he's much different. But,
No, he's the same dude. He hasn't changed a bit. I look at him every time something comes out of his mouth, I'm like, I never would have said that. I couldn't work with anybody more opposite.
Well, he was fresh out of Orlando when I started working with him.
Yeah, he was like, oh, welcome to the big city.
So people would call or go online and, hey, Buckethead.
Yeah.
And who? He goes, it's my old nickname, my old name on the
My
air.
old name.
I said, okay. I can
Yeah,
see why you're going by Jason.
We
now.
could have been Buckethead and Southside.
Yeah, Southside's a little better than Buckethead.
Yeah, I was like, damn, how'd you get Buckethead? But he had a story. But, Florida radio is a totally different animal. It really is. Those guys are still edgy. I don't want to say
It's
they're
vicious.
Yeah, they're
It's
vicious.
vicious down there.
Yeah.
But they are also, it's like 10 years behind. It's the same way.
And there's a lot of overlay
Yeah.
there between Tampa and Orlando.
Totally.
So the Sponge and all those guys in Tampa,
And then Jacksonville, too.
you could hear them in Orlando.
Right.
So you're basically competing. It It's a fun area. I like Orlando.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Disney World guy.
No.
But I like Orlando.
But you can raise some serious hell down there. I mean, it is the last frontier for just that whole, and I'm not wearing no pants Wednesday.
The shock jock,
Yeah, whatever. More of the shock jock. It still exists, whereas in Atlanta, we had to change our ways, fairly quickly. But, it was wild for a while. Now, your radio career.
We've been wussified.
Yeah, we've been wussified. I like that. Randy and I also vote the same way, which I dig. I love it. I just wanted, and I've got to do this with Randy because Randy and I get in discussions, and your wife, boy, she'll go there too in a heartbeat.
Yes, in a second.
In a second. But let's just say the way you vote and what you do, during your years, how was San Francisco when you played for the 49ers? How was the city at that back then?
We had some amazing politicians back then. Actually, earlier in my career, I want to say, I think it was 78, the year that the first time we went 2-14, so we sucked pretty bad.
Yeah.
The first game I went to after I broke my ankle was a Monday night game against Pittsburgh, and that day was when Dan White shot one of the board of supervisors.
Oh boy.
Yeah, in the main area. I mean, we had Quentin Kopp, Dianne Feinstein back there, and was a mayor. They were great. They were really good. They were crazy about the Niners, and once we got good, they really enjoyed it. They had a huge amount of fun, and everybody was best buddies until they wouldn't build a stadium. Then they hauled ass down to Santa Clara.
Then they left. Well, I was gonna tell you guys got great, and I forget. So your first season with the 49ers was that 78?
76.
76, coming out of UCLA. Now, where were you born?
I was born in New York, Mount Sinai Hospital, and my dad was an actor. So back then, TV was pretty much based in New York. Playhouse 90 and a bunch of other shows, but it was all live TV. And then everything started to move back to L.A. So around 58 or so, us and the Dodgers moved to L.A. Mm-hmm. And I grew up there, then San Francisco.
Wow, so you lived in Los Angeles as a teenager, so you went to high school and everything in L.A.?
Yeah, I grew up out in the valley.
Okay. What's that do?
A place called Tarzana.
See,
yeah.
You're like, we're with the valley dude, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool, Brett?
I still got some of those parachute pants working.
Yeah, you do. You went to those clubs. You're like, what's up?
I like the old hair.
You did. What kind of hair?
mullet?
Yeah, what kind of hair were you busting?
I had a hard mullet. I mean, I just had just regular old long hair in college.
Yeah.
I like hard on the mullet.
Once I got a few bucks, I went hard mullet.
Better hair, yours in your prime or
I had
Southside's?
that whole, me by a lot.
Yeah, Randy had beautiful hair. The funny thing about Randy, and I always tell him he's probably damn tired of hearing about it. Other than when we're at parties drunk and I try to get Randy to bend over and hike me the ball, he won't do it. You've never done that. I'm like, hike me a beer.
Won't either.
No, it won't either. But I'm like, can you imagine being behind the Randy Cross, one of the coolest centers in professional football?
Yeah.
Only Montana knew.
Don't mean to correct you real quick. I played 13 years.
Yeah.
9 was as a guard.
Oh, damn. See, I know you was a center.
I played my first 2.5 years at center and my last year and a half at center. And the only reason you know me as a center is because I did a Miller Lite commercial.
That's it.
And a whole series of them with the All-Stars and stuff.
Yes.
Where it was all about me bending over and somebody points at my butt and says, "Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?" So I did that whole thing, and we're making that commercial.
That's awesome.
And we're on a break, and they're running some of the film, and they've got it fonted. You got the graphics down at the bottom, and it says Randy Cross. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, let's look at this commercial.
Twice and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is Miller Lite. An all-pro center doesn't want some watered-down version
happening
of a
place here,
regular
isn't
beer. I want the less-filling beer that tastes great. Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known when it's Miller Lite, less filling, tastes
She'd
great.
recognize that ass anywhere.
So
That's our boy Randy Cross right there.
I'm reading the script, and I'm looking at the graphics, and I looked at the producer, a guy named Bob Girardi, he's a legendary producer in a lot of things, but he was responsible for made almost every one of those old Miller Lite commercials.
Wow, which were fantastic.
Madden and Euchre and all those guys. So I'm looking. I said, hey, I was never all pro at center. I said I was all pro 4 times at guard. At guard. And he goes, okay. And he looks over at like the ad agency person and goes like,
Why is he here?
yeah. Like, why would I want to do this? Where's my theme?
Dude.
And the ad person goes, like shrugs, and he looks back at me and goes, well, okay, hold on a second. Were you or were you not all pro? And I said, yeah, a few times. He goes,
Three, actually, based on my fact sheet.
yeah.
That's based on Wikipedia.
4, actually.
4, you dumbass.
That's Wikipedia.
But
It's 4.
I went off Wikipedia.
I said, yeah, I played center.
Yeah.
Yes, I was all pro. And he goes, perfect. All pro, center. Let's go. Come on.
That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. You're like, technically, I guess you're correct.
Close enough. Run
But
it. Yeah.
now, some 30, 31 years later, that's very, very, very common.
Really?
Like 99.9% of the people out there that know me as a football player immediately go center.
And I thought that, and I've only known you since 2005, but I always thought center. I did not know guard.
Yeah.
I feel stupid.
No, that's
Damn.
I blame that commercial, but
It's Miller Lite's fault.
I can't blame them because they paid me a good amount of money to do that.
I'm about to say,
stuff.
you got paid, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can call me whatever you want with that paycheck.
Randy got paid. Right? Did they give you
And just so they know, I'm available to do it again.
Dude,
everything's coming back around.
It
I think that'd be a good
There
thing
you
to
go.
do.
do you know how cool it would be to do that commercial again?
Like a remake, 80s remake, like every other movie they're doing.
Oh, my God. I mean,
Old school cans for Miller Lite brought back with the
Hello.
old school commercial.
the old white can's back. Bring Randy Cross back.
That's right.
Okay, look, Woodford Reserve, we want you for sure, and I want Randy to get Miller Lite back. Randy, I want to see the Miller Lite commercial. We've gone back to the white can. I want the old commercial.
I'm all for it.
So-
I got a little bit less butt nowadays from back then.
You think your butt's smaller?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. No doubt.
You still bend over like that?
No
though?
doubt. Oh yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Once again, I never see Randy bend over. He won't do it around me.
The only things I've replaced are my shoulders, not knees and hips and whatnot are just fine.
Really?
Shoulders are no joke though.
You were in a spot then, you look at the 60s, 70s, especially the 70s, what happened to the bodies, and when you went before the surgeon, it was primitive, like just put a rod in it.
Yeah.
But then you're coming through,
Yeah, they operated with a butter knife.
just keep cutting. You're like,
You see those guys' legs. That's back when a
Yes.
guy would tear a cartilage and it was like a career-threatening injury because they'd open your whole leg up to take the cartilage out.
you're like, did you have to do that? Not to mention you don't look right in your bathing suit. You got this scarred up leg.
No, it was bad. Those old players that you'd see, had some old guys. When I first got to San Francisco, there was some old John Brody, Gene Washington, great defensive guys. Also, teams that had been, nemesis with the Cowboys and the Lions and the Packers and all those great teams. And they were still there, and it was just nuts. You'd be in the locker room, you'd look at these limbs, just go, how in the hell does that guy, the young guys would all be on the other side of the room going, Jesus, you see that guy's leg? Is it going to fall off?
Is it going to stay attached?
Yeah, but there was no, I'm old enough to tell you, there was no arthroscopic surgery back then.
No, not at all. And you were in the 80s with you guys. Like you said, I'm glad to know. So no knee surgeries through all those years of football.
Oh, I had one.
One.
I had one 85. I blew my knee out in the Superdome like week 16.
What were y'all headed to the Super Bowl?
Heading to the playoffs.
Heading to the playoffs.
No, we'd won the Super Bowl the year before.
Right.
Heading to the playoffs. And I'm kind of glad I wasn't there for the playoff game because
It was ugly.
it was very ugly.
Would it have been different with
The
you?
Giants spanked them.
Yeah.
Spanked us.
You're sitting there in the bed going, damn, dudes.
But it was good news, bad news. It was cold as hell.
Yeah.
It was an ass kicking. And I got to watch it from home.
From home.
Yeah, I didn't have to go. So, yeah, it was too bad. But the one knee, I tore my medial collateral, tore the ligament out of the inside of my knee, and tore the cartilage in half.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Damn, that hurts. So you come off the field. Can you even walk on a
Oh, I
leg
didn't
like that?
get off the field.
You were carried. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You were driven
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I was on my back trying to sort of recover when all of a sudden I looked up and the team doctor and the trainer are there. And the first thing I said to him was, "Get that silly ass cart."
Yeah.
Because I need that cart now.
Guess who's not walking off the field?
Nah.
Do you remember? Did you do that? When the crowd, did you hear the crowd?
Well, it was at New Orleans.
Oh.
So
Did they give you any love, or were they going,
no.
"Who that's hurt?
Yeah.
Who that hurt?"
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. I was just happy I didn't get drenched with beer on the way through the tunnel. So
God, they do throw beer on you.
yeah,
guys.
they do.
There are
Yeah,
a bunch.
they do.
There are some fans that
Classy. Yeah.
God. Atlanta, we're so nice. The Falcon fans to people. I mean,
half of them are rooting for the other team.
Well, true that. We'll let you come in and take over our stadium. I did sit in the 700 section in Philadelphia for the Falcons playoff game. That was gutsy, and I was wearing Falcons
are pretty nice too. I mean,
Yeah.
that whole 28-3 thing. That's an act. That's just a charitable act, unlike no other.
Yeah, wasn't that a gift?
Yeah.
Hold on. I just need a moment. I can't talk about it. Did that really happen?
Let's drink more.
I need a lot more to drink. Randy, you're so damn mean. You're not a true Falcon fan. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite football team still?
I really haven't. Pro-wise, I still follow the Niners pretty closely. I did the NFL for 20 years on TV between CBS and a short stint with NBC back when CBS didn't have the football. But that kind of trains you out of having a team because you're constantly around most of them. Mm-hmm. And now I do college football.
And
so
you're digging that.
Yeah. I mean, there are some semi-professional teams in college.
Yeah, there are.
But, NFL-wise, it's just different. I did the Patriots preseason for 10 years during training camp and preseason.
Scratch my soul.
So I'm a little biased towards them, the Niners, and a couple other teams. I've always been a real believer that owners and organizations are every bit as more important as a coach and talent. Because there's a lot of teams that have talent. There's a lot of teams that have good coaches. But there aren't many teams that have the quality owners, the great front office, the staff, and the talent.
Yeah.
That rare combination doesn't happen too often.
Well, you were part of it with the 49ers and then with the Patriots,
Did the Patriots way rub off on you, or did it rub you off?
I still have a personality.
Yeah, he does.
That was a hand job joke, Robert Kraft.
I don't appreciate
I got
it.
that one.
Yeah, okay. If Steve's going to drop shitty jokes, I want to drop shitty jokes too.
Okay, but
I'm sorry.
Your joke went after a man that was doing. I actually, Robert, if you're watching, and you could be,
I've done the same thing.
No, I did massage parlor reviews and got paid to do it. But what I would say to Robert,
so pretty on you, so pretty.
I love you, Steve. It's bad when they know
Giving
you.
you memories, yeah.
They're like, "Hey, Steve." I'm like, "Don't talk."
You know that voice too well. Yeah.
Stop it. No, but when you're a guy like that, think about it. With that kind of money, and your wife died, and you were loyal to her 4 or 5 years after her death, and you're a guy that wants to have some action. Do you get a girlfriend, somebody that's even half your age, your same age, whatever, that could just take you down, and get involved if you're not in love with somebody, or you just go get action to where it stays there and it's done? I mean, I would be afraid if I got some young girlfriend or even somebody in the 30s or 40s, what they would say or get involved,
That whole thing was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
The way
but I don't blame him for doing it.
The way it all went down. It kind of goes with the territory, unfortunately.
Couldn't find a shot of the 80s mullet as much as strong as it probably was, but this one's decent. Yeah, not too bad.
I dig that one.
Yeah, that's classic.
That's the shorter version.
Yeah,
That is.
I can see it growing at that point.
And the darker version.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, the darker. Did you ever think about coloring your hair ever?
I actually did for a period.
And then you went. What's
I
the age?
I didn't go all the way. I just kind of
a little bit,
like
a little splash of gray to show you that I'm older, but I'm not going to show you everything I got.
Yeah, one of those.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. People, I have to color mine, dude. I think I'm about 50%, but there comes a point in time where I'll embrace it as well. But while I'm taking a stage and talking to 25-year-olds off a stage, I'm not going to do it. Just being honest.
Yeah.
Just not. You got to try to look. I believe in always looking 10 years younger if you can pull that off, maybe 12. It's just when you try to look 30 years younger, that's when you run into trouble.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it.
That you can do, and I will say, for you doing what you've done, and you're looking at these pictures. The one thing I told Randy when I met him in 2005, because we were in the same building, and I was actually blown away. I don't get blown away by many people, but the second I saw you, I'm like, damn, that's Randy Cross. And you don't usually know what centers, linemen all look like, but you on the sideline, for some reason, I don't know if it's the camera guys loved you or what, but you had that total look of that California look. And I know I tell you that all the time.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yeah,
And it was like that actor, that chiseled face, the hair. You just looked like a dude that was from California.
Yeah, I wasn't going to lie to you and tell you that I didn't know where the cameras were.
Because you worked it. All right. I got to tell you, dude, you were on all the time. I guess if you're like, I think they're, Montana's struggling. I'm going to go stand next to him for a while.
No, that I didn't do. But when you'd see them. No, but it was a fantastic time starting.
It had to have been.
Starting in 81.
Do you remember launching this guy? This one I love. You just got him in the air.
Oh, yeah. That actually, I think, is on a extra point or a field goal, and the guy was trying to jump over the top of the pile, and we
About to get bodies.
treated him to a little head plant.
Detroit Lion.
What a treat.
It's a lion going down. Dude, that had to just been a blast. And what's it like, like you said, now we know you were a guard more than you were center, all pro 4 times. When you hike that ball, I mean, how much time, that's the toughest job in the world because you got to focus in on that and snap count and everything. And then you look up and like, oh, hell, I got to make sure I don't get knocked on my ass.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard, you don't ever have any time to look up.
You don't.
No.
Whereas the other linemen do, they're staring the guy in the eyes.
When you're doing, for instance, field goals and extra points, you're just snapping. And what happens?
Did you long snap too?
What happens? Yeah, I did all the field goals, extra points, and punts.
Oh,
So now they carry a whole guy on the roster to do that.
I'm about to say that's his job. That's all he does. And you were doing
That's
it all.
all he does. Yeah. So they were getting a hell of a bargain.
Who was your closest friend or who was the coolest guy on the 49ers? Because anybody that is, I would say, 30 and up, and Brett, being your age, it's tough. But in the 80s, that's when I'm finishing high school in 83. We're all watching sports, and the 49ers just dominated.
Yeah. I maybe Dwight Clark.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, who unfortunately passed away a little while ago.
I was about to say that
from
had
ALS.
That had to have been tough.
I tell you the probably the coolest guy I played with was a guy that originally played for the New England Patriots, came from the University of Oregon, was a track athlete and a football player. Dad was a professional wrestler.
Oh my God.
And his name was Russ Francis.
Okay.
And Russ was a big, good-looking guy, 6'5", 240, was in unbelievable shape, was hilarious, and he did sort of all the things normal people go, well, someday I'd like to do that. That was his off season. He'd mountain climb and skydive, and you ever hear of I think it's a P-51 Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plane.
Yeah, the plane.
The world's fastest, the fastest prop plane ever. Russ had one of those.
He just owned one.
And one day he wasn't practicing. He goes to the airport and he buzzes practice in his P-51. And loses his license for about 6 months.
Was it worth it? Yeah.
I think to him it was.
Dude, that is awesome. Yeah. How cool is that?
He was really a good guy.
Is he still with us?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. You stay in touch?
Not that much.
But just a dude you knew, like, that's the coolest guy.
We'll see him at some stuff. But, those of us, I live here in Atlanta, and there's a couple other guys from those teams that live here. Steve Wallace is a Dunwoody guy. He's from Atlanta. Harris Barton was from Dunwoody.
Okay.
But there's not many guys. Carlton Williamson, who was our safety back in those early Super Bowl teams, he's an exec with Chick-fil-A.
Oh, my God.
Down in South Atlanta.
He ain't hurting.
No,
he ain't hurting.
He's been with them for a long time, too.
Truett Caffey goes, I'll take you. I'm going to draft you into my team.
But that's the thing. When you move, once you're away, you're away.
Yeah.
And that's, I really, really about California. I miss the weather. I miss all our friends.
You have to.
I miss the family. Yeah.
What brought you here?
An airplane.
Oh, man.
Boom! We got it going on.
That may be the best response yet or any joke on this
So
show. Thank
dry
you.
and-
I was
What?
like,
An airplane.
touche. That was very good.
That's Randy beating up on me. Randy could have said a minivan.
I was working. I had an advertising and promotions agency,
Okay.
and so my partners and I were running that, and I was doing TV. And then during during non-football season, I was just doing the advertising. And some of our biggest clients were in the East Coast, so we were spending a lot of time there then, and just flying like crazy. And I was starting to do better games, so that meant NFC East, and that meant doing 9:00 production meetings on Friday mornings, which
Yeah.
means you're taking a red eye Thursday night to get there in time.
That's brutal.
And that just wore me out year round.
You
So-
looked at the wife and said, I think we're going East
Yeah,
Coast.
and at that point I had 3 kids, and they were like 1.5, 4.5, and 7.
Wow.
And we figured, if we're going to do it, kind of do it when they're young like this. And all 3 of them, Kelly, Crystal, and Brendan, all pretty much they remember Atlanta. The oldest one, Kelly, I think remembers some of the Bay Area.
I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why'd we leave? We were living in California. We were in the Bay. I was a Valley girl. Look what you did. No, my wife went to school with your children.
Congrats.
Yeah. And that's
My wife went to school with your children. Sorry, I just caught that.
Look, everybody knows I'm a hot mess. Okay? There's only 22 years between me and my wife. Actually, 23. Correct?
No judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Yeah, he said he dyed his hair to look 20 years younger. He didn't say anything about anything else.
Good call. Yes, true. Very true.
I'm coloring everything. I got these great pills I can take. I'm good. No, but your kids growing up here, I think it would be tough. I love the weather there. That's about it for me. I look now at San Francisco and places like that, not to get political. I don't know how I could live in a city like that. We were in San Francisco last year with our son, and we went out and we went to the Napa Valley, stayed in San Francisco for a couple of days.
God, I love Napa.
God, Napa, damn. And you're currently watching right now, if you're watching HBO, I never get it, Hard Knocks. They're in Napa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oakland Raiders do
That's
Napa.
where they do training camp.
God, I'm like, what in
Must
the
be
hell?
tough, yeah.
Dude,
Too bad.
I'd be coming in the morning going, wine hangover.
Hitting up Artesa all day.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's what's so cool, I think. I think anybody on the East Coast has to be fascinated with California. You just are.
Yeah, it's and so much of that being in that area has nothing to do with San Francisco. It's like, everybody talk about, well, LA's got this, and this wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, the actual city of LA is a small part of growing up in LA.
Sure.
And just like the Bay Area is known for San Francisco, most people don't know. San Francisco's population's like 700,000.
Yeah.
It ain't that big.
Okay.
But, that sort of is the nameplate for the entire area. And that area got nothing but great things about the area and the people. I just loved it. It was an unbelievable time.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, and again, we're glad to have you here. And right now, what I want to do before we're leaning towards a point in the show, Randy, where I get nervous, where I don't know what Brett's going to ask you. But one thing I want to talk about right now is you. A cigarette break is something we do, and we timed it out. The average time for a cigarette is 4 minutes, but we think if you really hit it hard, it's 250. So around 3 minutes to smoke a cigarette. I wish we could burn one in here right now. I don't even smoke cigarettes, but wouldn't it be fun if we
I don't
could?
smoke either.
I don't smoke, but it would be fun to just go ahead, Randy. And when I'm done, you're done. But I want to shamelessly plug anything that you're into right now, what Randy Cross, X49er, is up to.
Well, professionally, I'm still doing college football. So I do a little bit of that, a little Tuesday night inside college football, and then Saturdays college football games, Fridays and Saturdays college football. So that keeps me pretty darn busy. Come game times in the college football season. I do a weekly podcast called the Randy Cross Podcast, kind of catchy.
I like it.
Used to be called Unsafe Spaces. But I figured I'd make it a little bit easier to figure out.
I like unsafe spaces, though. That's pretty cool. But now it's just called the Randy Cross Podcast.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And
That advertising background's coming in.
and it's easy because you find it at randycross.com.
That's great. Randy Cross. That's with a C, everybody.
Yes, it is. Not Kloss.
No,
not
it's Cross.
KLCR. Yeah, I'm doing that. And actually, this off season, I've been working with a group called Hire Heroes, which is Hire Heroes USA, which is a nonprofit whose entire mission is training and getting veterans jobs.
Oh, awesome.
They spend their time, teaching them everything: how to interview, how to write a resume, because you don't even think about that. And I think even they don't think about it. But when they're thrown into it, there's a lot you don't know about that corporate sort of atmosphere.
Dude, I had a roommate that literally worked on tanks for the Marines, and he came out and he goes, "What the hell am I supposed to do?" Same thing. That's great.
Yeah. So we're doing a documentary.
Okay.
Basically, about and for them, about the whole veteran process and making that transition, from the military into sort of the civilian normal world. Mm-hmm. So, and that's going to come out right around Veterans Day.
Awesome.
And we're also going to start a weekly or twice a month. So what's that? Bi-monthly podcast for them.
Oh man,
so
you're busy, and you're doing your podcast locally.
Yeah, do it every week, and do it over at the Cooler.
That's very cool. That's over by Top Golf.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Right,
exactly
right
where the Cooler is.
Right down the road.
Very cool spot. Yeah, I got a neighbor that plays hockey, and he plays over there, so I know where the Cooler is.
I love it.
Adult hockey. Anything else going on?
No, that's about it. Wife and I are heading to the lake for 3 or 4 days here coming up. And
awesome.
Going to enjoy it and have fun and get ready to be on an airplane an awful lot. So
there you go. God, with college, how can people see you? What network? What is that on?
CBS Sports Network.
Okay. That's very cool.
Look it up. It's on all the channels now, or all the carriers now.
That's great. The camera loves you, Randy. I got to tell you, I'm happy with it. It always has, even in the '80s, dude.
Yep.
And it loved your butt for a Miller Lite commercial.
Got to stay coiffed.
Yeah, I mean you got to. That is Randy Cross's cigarette break, and I have one question before I turn it off to Brett Barney.
I have a question too.
What do you got?
Can we take a break? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their figures loomed large on the landscape of pro football in 1984. And to look beyond these imposing shadows was to discover the substance of a champion. It took many faces to give the 49ers the look of a winner.
Okay, now that right there, that's at Stanford Stadium. That's from Super Bowl 19. That's when we kicked the crap out of the Dolphins.
You look pretty happy in it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was before we kicked the crap out of them. I was just positive we were going to kick the crap out of them.
So this is before the game started.
Yes.
It's not a halftime shot.
This is like at warm-ups.
You had a good feeling.
And you already knew.
I was feeling it. Yeah.
You had it.
Yeah.
So
we were actually kind of semi-underdogs to Dan Marino and the Dolphins.
Oh, damn. Do you feel bad that Dan never got a Super Bowl ring?
Not in the least. Because in order for him to have gotten one, I'd only have 2.
Okay, and that would suck. We don't want you just
No,
to have
you
2.
don't. You know,
No.
3 is a lot better.
Yeah, what was in your mouth?
About 12 pieces of gum.
Is that what?
That was kind of my mouthpiece.
That was your mouthpiece? Because I could tell you had something in your mouth.
I would constantly chew on. I had a big chaw of gum, and just go. And I'm talking about rot your teeth, juicy fruit.
Just the worst gum ever.
Oh, by the time normally a diabetic would have been dropped in their tracks by the middle of the second quarter. But I was constantly chewing that gum.
So you weren't a dipper. I thought for a second, I said, is Randy having a dip?
Practice.
You would dip in practice?
I would mix gum and chewing tobacco.
Damn.
Classic.
What is it with athletes now that they don't do that?
I don't know. They don't like
science.
They don't like getting a buzz in practice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You like the buzz.
Oh yeah, or that nicotine zzz you get from that stuff. Yeah, yeah, it was cool.
Nicotine.
It was good. It was really good. And we had guys that dipped and
Even your official card, you have a big piece of gum in there. Look at that.
Dude, that hair.
Oh man, that's
All right,
great.
I didn't know you had curly hair. Is it your hair naturally curly? That curly?
Back then it was.
Yeah, and it just straightened out.
Straightened out as it got old.
Isn't it weird? Because most people,
It's the exact
It got
opposite of a lot of
tired.
other
yeah,
stuff.
most people, yeah, no. God dang, Randy's killed it. Woo. No, I would say most people, you get the gray hair is supposed to be curly, and yours is straight.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Well, go figure. But
knew?
yeah, it was curly. It was that was semi mullet days.
That was 78. That one we just brought up. So yeah,
that actually was at Washington, and that was the day I broke my ankle.
Oh.
I had broke my wrist the week before, and the next week I broke my ankle, and that's when I got the rest of the year off.
So
I
you-
went on injured reserve and ended up getting married that season actually.
That's good because that was going to be one of my last questions. So you're able to play with your broken wrist because you couldn't have broke your ankle.
Well, it was in a cast,
But damn,
so I had a semi weapon.
I'm about to say.
Watch Hard Knocks. Jeez.
Yeah,
I know.
Actually, it's still busted. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of swollen right there. It was what's called a navicular. It was a non-union fracture, where the bones kind of separate and then floated apart. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to fix that, you got to go in and fuse them back together.
And you're like, I don't know fusing here.
I've had that described to me a couple times by hand specialists. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that bad. See, I can move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
Guess who's not getting fused? Not happening.
Yeah, I'm guessing that would affect my golf game.
Yes, I would think it would. I actually broke my wrist in 4 places, but it works. I got it all good. Your wife, you got married at what point in time in your career?
It was the end of my 3rd year. It was December of 78. Mm-hmm. And actually, we went up to Tahoe with my parents. And I had a cast on my left arm and a cast on my left ankle. And she married me.
Wow.
And we were 2 and 14. And, best thing that ever happened to me. And
A lot of faith.
Made a lot of difference in my life. I guarantee you that. But we actually got married again in January. We had planned a big wedding in January, and my accountant says, not for nothing, but if you get married before December 31st, when it's still 78, you can save like $4,500 on your taxes. I went, it's a 2-hour drive here. Yeah.
Honey, I love you.
Awfully romantic, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
I love you, and I love saving $4,500.
Yes, and God bless my wife's mom and dad for not going crazy when we announced that we were going to actually get married, and then we're going to do it again in January, and they got to pay for it.
Oh,
one of those things. So but it was fantastic. Yeah, it was. She's something. Got 3 kids. Got Kelly, Crystal, and Brendan. Mm-hmm. And we won't go about, Brendan's the baby. He's like 28, 29 years old. Or he'll be 29 next July, I guess.
right.
But, it's got 2 grandkids, which is really, I highly recommend that. And you're obviously going to be
Dead.
No, you're going to.
Come on, there's no way he's alive for
He's got to be a
grandkids.
young grandpa. You got no choice.
He's
Hold
going to be
on.
75 when his kid goes to college.
Can we listen to the man with
If the
3
kid
Super
goes to
Bowl
college.
rings? Hold on. Go ahead, Randy. Say something nice.
He's going to be that guy in the chair
Oh,
with a terry cloth ascot to absorb all the drool
Terry Claw.
when they're pushing him. We're pushing
Him
him.
in an ascot.
I've never seen a Confederate flag ascot.
They're pushing him to they're pushing him to his boy's college graduation. Daddy, I got out. Rhubarb.
Give me my Woodford.
Hell no, I'll never forget. Give me my Woodford. No, I hear you, damn it. I did have a kid late. So, yeah. You've got grandchildren, I got a kid.
But grandkids are amazing.
No, I'm happy for you. You got a beautiful wife and a beautiful life. And like I said, I don't think I've ever met your eldest. I know your wife and son. Especially not your wife and your middle daughter. I love his middle daughter. Crystal's got this raspy voice. So cool.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, the oldest one, is in sort of PR crisis management. And Crystal, who lives here in Atlanta, works for Cisco.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I know Cisco
The
well.
thong song guy?
No.
No, and not the food distributor.
Oh, that's who I thought it was.
No.
Who's
no,
Cisco? I thought it was
Cisco System, as in computers.
CISCO.
CISCO.
Yeah, I know you're talking
Yeah.
I thought
Not SYS.
because when I owned a bar, I ordered from Cisco. I thought she'd driving
Yeah.
a truck, Randy.
And my son works for a company called Meltwater, which is
How the hell do you melt water?
yeah,
Yeah, heat it.
yeah.
Can't melt it no more.
It's melted.
They specialize in business analytics.
Damn.
Well, that's
All right, all that just went.
no
Yeah,
That's why we're doing this.
business ethics.
All right, at this point in time on the Yeah Come On show, brought to you by Oxygen Financial with 2 locations in the Atlanta metro. Again, go to oxygenfinancial.net to get a hold of Ted Jenkin. I turn it over to Brett Barney. Here we are at the moment of, I'm never real comfortable with this, but here's the good news. Randy can handle anything you ask.
Okay, let's do this.
And he might
I
hit
accept
you.
that challenge.
He
By the
might-
way,
he might hit you.
The first thing I was going to ask you is if I could see your hands, but I can tell your fingers actually aren't jacked up for linemen. I'm pretty amazed.
no, yeah. So obviously I didn't hold much,
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't get that, that sideways finger.
Yeah, you don't have one of the gross fingers. I was
Crook
kind of
finger.
hoping you did, but all right. Sorry.
Yeah, no big deal.
You guys both, this is kind of for the room. You guys both worked with a man known as, or who goes by Jason Bailey on the radio. I don't know what he goes by in his spare time. Who's Bailey's better co-host?
Oh, that's not even close.
Yeah, it really isn't close at all. It's hands down one of us, and I know who it is.
Who?
It's Randy.
50-50 shot. Yeah.
It's that damn Randy Cross.
Is it Randy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's who I'd vote for.
I'm going to vote for Randy, too. Just to be sweet.
There's only 2 votes I know I wouldn't get, and they fired both of us.
Damn.
I'm kind of going to bounce around here. Are kickers football players?
No chance.
What about long snappers?
No hesitation there.
No chance.
Long snap? You were a long snapper? Well, it was different back in your day.
He was doing it
Yeah,
all.
yeah. I wasn't a specialist. Long snappers are now making
What do they make?
$500,000
Yeah.
to long
That's minimum.
to long snap, and nobody's allowed to hit them.
Yep.
Are
You can't line up on top of them. Remember the old no bucking the center?
Yes.
Well, that's now come to the NFL and most of major football. It's a safety issue because the guy is relatively unprotected.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. If you're focusing on that, by the time you got that out, you could get
And there
hurt.
are some coaches out there that used to love just knocking the bejesus out of the center.
Yeah.
2 of which are Joe Gibbs and Don Shula,
Really?
both of which I had the happiness of playing quite a few times.
I
So
would not have thought Joe Gibbs. I would think Joe Gibbs pretty stand-up dude, but he's like, no, you nail the center. Let's just flood the middle.
looking for an edge, baby, wherever you can get it.
Got to win.
Which has more colorful language behind the scenes, the NFL or the media?
Behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Oh, not NFL by.
Oh, wow. Really?
By,
You ever work in a newsroom?
Yeah. That's where I kind of started.
Yeah, but I don't know.
No, not even
Is
close.
it
Not even close.
All right, I don't know. I had to
Not,
shoot
not
for it.
even close. Now, sports radio.
That's part of media,
Is
though.
close. Yeah, well, that's
Behind the scenes.
sports radio would be close. Though I never heard half the stuff in a bullpen that I heard in a locker room.
All right, fair enough. Who has more bandwagon fans, Notre Dame or Navy?
Oh, Notre Dame! You kidding?
I'm Irish. I
That's
love
not,
them.
that's not even close.
What about
I-
what about all
though
the
I was
stolen
ra- I
valor
was-
folks?
I was raised a very, very simple way. I was raised to love UCLA, hate USC, and root for whoever was playing Notre Dame.
There you go.
Well, what about Notre Dame or the Patriots? More bandwagon fans.
Bandwagon fans?
Bandwagon fans.
Probably the last decade might be the Patriots.
Whose are worse, Notre Dame's or the Patriots?
Who's what?
Whose are worse?
Who's the worst?
Which are
I
bigger
would still
pieces
say,
of shit?
I would still say Notre Dame's bandwagon fans are probably worse. They're with them win or tie.
When it's all said and done, who's going to have a better professional career, you or your dad?
That one's over because he passed away about 92.
Yeah, but he has a pretty lengthy resume. I looked it up on.
Oh yeah, he does. He does.
So do you, though.
Yeah, he
But
does.
how blessed are you to have your father till 92?
No,
Wow.
he died in 92.
Oh,
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He
and
was like 66.
And he didn't have me at 50.
no.
Smooth. Steve.
Look, that's what I do. Those are the kind of mistakes I make. That's what I do. How old was he when
It
he
was a
passed?
nice sentiment, if that was the truth.
He was about 67, 68 years
Oh
old.
my God, that's the same age my father.
Yeah.
That's too early.
Yeah,
My
no,
dad
he
left
was-
us at 67.
Dad went hard.
Yeah,
He smoked his whole life. And,
right.
That was
you
a
know,
thing, though, then.
He was in the Marines on Guadalcanal, and
Badass.
yeah. So, yeah, he didn't live real long, but he had 7 kids, and
Packed a lot of life into those
yes,
years.
he did.
yeah.
What
Yes,
what
he
number
did.
were you?
I was number 2.
Okay.
So who will have the better resume, though? You or your dad?
I think I've just edged him out finally.
Nice. All right, I had to ask this. Obviously, you can tell I'm a former lineman myself. Mm-hmm. Made it all the way through 9th grade football. When I was third string freshman team,
Wait how long it takes.
you know, I could in the game, if I had to use the bathroom, I could just honestly walk over there. Probably no one would notice. I get a hot dog. Nobody would notice. I doubt it was the same for you,
Oh,
considering
they'd
you made it to
have
the
noticed if you
NFL.
got a hot dog. Trust me.
Yeah, you would have gotten noticed. They didn't notice me. I got 3 plays a game. I was the reason why they make the rule every parent's kid must get 3 plays a game.
At least you're being honest.
What did you do when you had to use the bathroom, being somebody who actually saw the field?
Go before the game started or wait till halftime.
What if you couldn't make it?
Got to have discipline, man.
You wouldn't piss your pants?
He's a grown ass man. He
I
can hold
played.
it.
I
That's
played.
very common.
I played with one guy who shall remain nameless.
That's fine.
Damn.
That
Off air, we
was
can
used to just in his pants, in the huddle, wherever he was. And we always thought he was messing with us until one day he was sitting on the bench, and under his seat was one of those old knee pads that was upside down. So it kind of looked like a semi-cup.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel this jab in my ribs, and I went like this, and guy points down at the ground. You look down there, and it's like a little yellow pool in that knee pad. And
need some Gatorade.
Dude is right there, just going. So that's not unusual at all. I mean, the only thing that's strange, we played in that Super Bowl 19. No, it was Super Bowl 16. Hacksaw Reynolds had to go to the bathroom. And there's pictures out there. I don't think there's any video. But about 4 people stood up there with towels. And he went on the sideline
Yeah.
Wow.
at the Super Bowl.
Now you
on
could
the
go in the
grass.
medical tent.
How old do you think I am? There was no medical tent. Medical tent was called the locker room when I played. There was
Yeah.
no medical tent.
They hauled him off the field to start working on him.
I mean,
That
there
medical
was-
tent.
I love that whole pop-up tent thing
Yeah.
with a sponsor on the side, and nobody can
Dr.
look at
Andrews.
you. Nobody can look at you when you're getting examined. That was pretty cool.
it's like a MASH unit. We're going to start surgery now.
Didn't have it. Only been around for about, I guess, maybe 10 years.
So you just peed on the sidelines.
Yeah, right on the sidelines with people standing around him holding towels so nobody could see.
But you
they got
held-
they got the general idea, but they couldn't see.
Yeah, but you held it. You yourself.
Oh yeah,
All right, there you go.
What was his name again? I'm looking for a picture. Just out of.
Hacksaw Reynolds?
Jack Hacksaw Reynolds.
Okay.
All right, a diner makes a meal called the Randy Cross. What does it consist of?
Oh, let's see. I'd say about a 5-patty burger
Holy shit.
with about a 1/4 pound of bacon,
Your colon's getting clean.
little avocado. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe some bread, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Might
Texas toast?
just. Oh no, can't stand that stuff.
What?
Yeah, that's called greasy bread.
It's not American.
Brett is offended.
Really, that's the best bread on the market.
Look, whatever Randy Cross says.
What would a Southside be? If a diner was like, "Hey, we're gonna make a Southside," what do you want it to be?
Probably a fried bologna sandwich, what I grew up eating.
Nice, the same thing you get in prison. All right, chugging was all the rage this off season. How fast can you chug a beer?
I would say somewhere south of 5 seconds.
Who's the best chugger you've ever seen?
Oh, God, what's the guy's name? I had a teammate that, had one of those almost like rattlesnake jaws that he could turn one up and you just see suddenly this like hole would open up, and he'd just pour beer. He'd just like pour beer in it and wouldn't even flinch. So I'm disappointed in myself that I can't remember, but there was no gulping or swallowing involved. It was just pouring.
Just like
the end of
2
the Man
seconds,
Show.
huh?
It was like the end of the Man Show when the guy would have the 2 beers and they would just
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
ziggy zaggy,
Ziggy
zaggy.
zag.
Yeah. I've only got a few left. What do you still have from all the Super Bowls you played in?
Let's see, rings, autograph balls from all those teams.
Jerseys.
I've got jerseys. Only got one of them framed, but I've got another couple of them hanging around the house.
Any helmets?
Got my helmet from the last game. That's about it. No, I got my shoes. Got the shoes I wore.
That's cool.
Yeah.
From all 3 or just one of the Super Bowls?
From 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3?
Yeah, they were both the 2 that were played on grass in Miami and Stanford.
So they got studs.
Yeah. I mean, they were longer cleats.
Cleats or longer cleats, yeah.
Yeah.
What about so you only have one helmet?
Yeah, it was from my last game.
The last game you ever played?
Yeah.
Damn, how long did you had that helmet? You guys don't keep helmets.
This whole thing with Antonio
I was going to
Brown,
ask you about Antonio Brown has a 10-year-old helmet he wants to play with.
Well, that just tells you he's either a wide receiver or a kicker.
Yeah.
Because nobody wears a helmet for 10 years.
Or a
Because
hoarder.
you know what? You actually use them, they tend to get worn out. But if you don't use them, it's like being in the box. They'll last a long time. So I guess you can play with one for 10 years. But the technology eventually, there's a lot of things I'd mess with and defend. A helmet wouldn't be one of them. I'd want the latest technology on my melon, personally.
Right, that's cool. So you have the helmet you were wearing the last day you played for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that was probably a year and a half, 2 years old.
Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't talk too much. In my 13 years, I probably had 4.
Okay, but yeah. You upgraded.
What about like pants or girdles?
Girdle's
I was
such
always
a funny
thinking-
word.
How
Okay,
awesome
okay,
would it
I'll-
be to
no,
have a mannequin of yourself
great-
when you walked in your house?
It's a great term because there actually were girdle pads that you could put like hip pads and tailbone pads and all that in football, which people stopped wearing, at least in the NFL, really a long time ago. They weren't doing that when I was still playing. So I know what you're talking about. Never wore them. Never had them. Always used to. I was of the opinion the smaller, lighter pads I could wear, the faster I would be. So I was as delusional as most guys are today that wear those little postage stamps for thigh pads.
I couldn't find a picture, but it says that was at the Super Bowl that he peed?
No.
Oh, okay. This, according to this guy, it was at Super
Hacksaw?
Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Super Bowl 16.
Yeah, that's it. Super Bowl 16 versus the Bengals. I like how this guy says he took out his first down chain and unceremoniously peed indoors on the Pontiac Silverdome carpet, proving that not all animals can be housebroken.
God bless him. Hey, he didn't
Look at that picture, too. Yeah.
He didn't wet his pants.
You know how he got his nickname, right?
No.
He went to Tennessee,
Okay.
and he and his roommate sawed a Jeep in half one night.
As a stunt, just to do to
Just
a dude.
to do it.
Just to do it.
Sawed a Jeep in half.
I'm either wondering what do they make saws out of, or what do they make Jeeps out of?
Yeah,
back then?
seriously. That's
No,
durable.
this
know which
is
way to
the
go.
old military style.
Yeah, okay, then what did they make saws out of?
My guess is he went through more than one blade through the process.
He's sitting there with his little bit of.
dedication.
Yeah.
You go, Hacksaw.
And by the way, never drank.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
You ran a lot
So
of.
he was doing that 100% sober, which
Dude.
in and of itself is even more amazing.
Was that did a lot of people back then not drink, or was everybody drinking?
Yeah, among other things.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean,
saw other
it was
things?
it was
the
the
80s,
it was the
right?
70s and 80s.
Right.
I was about to say, man. Good God. Do you see yourself when you're doing that, when you're playing football as a specimen? You're like, there's a part of me that just wants to take care of my body and function, but then you're like, what the hell? I got all this money and I'm famous, and why
Yeah, well,
not?
we weren't quite as in touch with the, and I used to train a lot, so there were a bunch of us that were a little bit unusual, but we weren't that far removed from the guys that used to work in the offseason. I mean, they had real jobs that they would do besides playing football, and that wasn't because they felt like they needed to work. It was because they weren't getting paid that much and
Sure.
they needed to work. I mean, my first 3 years' salaries were $27,000, $36,000, $45,000.
What would that be the equivalent to today? Because that would have been in the 70s.
Well, I was
26,000, 37,000, 40,000.
No.
No, I was
70, 80,
I was
90?
a second round draft pick.
Yeah.
So, that would probably, because of the minimum salary, be right around, first year would have been around in the $500,000 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a little bit different back then.
What was the money coming in like your last year in football in '89?
It was okay. I think Joe Montana was the first $1 million player, at least of our era.
Wow.
And that was in like 88, 87, 88.
So it's not even like Montana capitalized on the money.
No, the money wasn't that big.
You saw the shift from
the money just
high
wasn't
profile.
the money just wasn't that big. I mean,
Yeah.
the rights fees, that's what's driven the money through the ceiling. Is the TV rights fees. Ticket cost is pretty prohibitive.
Yeah.
And everything else rights wise, T-shirts and helmets. You think of all the stuff that's sold, it's amazing. I'm sorry, we interrupted you.
No, you're good. You have 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yes.
If you were going to sell one of them and you had to sell it, which one would you get rid of?
If I had to sell one, damn.
Like all of a sudden, Randy's hurting.
If you not even
Randy's
not-
got
not
issues.
even-
He's
not
a
even-
gambler.
Not even you have to sell it. You have to get rid of one of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do that. Like
I gotta give you the analogy I always use because I get asked all the time which one's my favorite ring.
I don't know. I want to know which one's your least favorite ring.
I say it's kind of like your kids. I got 3 kids.
Which one's your least favorite?
Damn.
He's not letting up.
Right now, all kids of Randy, tune out.
I'm not selling a Super Bowl ring.
Okay, now which one would you get rid of if you had to get rid of one?
Same answer.
You
Nope.
have to get rid of one. It's life or death.
It ain't happening.
Kid or
life
Super Bowl
or
ring?
death.
Which
I'm,
one?
I'm leaving one.
There
to
is one that you would get
I'm
rid of.
leaving one to
You have
each.
3 of them.
I'm leaving one to each kid.
Wow. Do you know which kid's getting which one, or is it based on their ages?
Which kid's your favorite?
Pretty much ages.
ages? So you're like, okay, my first Super Bowl
Number one
ring
gets
goes to my
number one.
oldest.
Number 2 gets
There you
number
go.
2. Number 3 gets.
Fair enough. Now, my question would be different than Brett's because obviously you're not going to get rid of one. You can't say that there's one you'd get rid of. But which? How do you choose which one you
Well,
wear?
the best team I played on was 19.
Okay.
So that's the favorite.
Yeah, that was the best.
Going to the oldest.
That was the best team I ever played on. 81 was the first Super Bowl we won. And the one in Super Bowl 23 was my last game, my last time on the field. So they've each got their own little niche.
You ain't getting rid of the last one who won last time on the field. No way, no how.
Or the best team.
Or the best team.
Or the first one. I mean, it's just so.
See, he did. He just gave a great story on why he can't get rid of one. You got your first one, the best team, and his last time on the field. Not many guys playing football have those stories. It's pretty good.
Sounds like you get rid of the first one.
No. Oh, that was too much fun.
What are you wearing right now? Put that up.
That's the College Football Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So I pepper that one into the mix.
You do? What do you wear? How do you choose which ring you're going to wear on a daily basis?
Just kind of grab it.
Do you have your Super Bowl
Close your
rings
eyes and
laying
reach in the
out?
box.
It's
Hold on, honey. Close my eyes. Thanks.
it's not within grabbing distance, but they're close
Where do you keep them? They're in like your closet?
in a safety deposit box.
Do you? Oh, wow.
You got to rotate them.
All right, so you just bring one home.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this one this month. Okay, I got
Yeah.
it.
Keep it next to the Rolex and some of the other stuff.
There you go,
Hey-o.
brother.
I
Hello.
I kind of figured that you probably wouldn't tell me that you were going to get rid of one of your rings, although I did have a question I was going to ask you after that was, can I have it? So we didn't get there.
That's all he was getting at.
I really want to ask you this. I've got a few things I'm going to throw at you. I'm going to give you 2 options. You have to get rid of one for the rest of your life. So I'm going to ask you something like Carmel or Napa. If you could get rid of one, which one would you get rid of?
Carmel.
Okay. And now I'm going to rapid fire these at you. Ready? Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Chick-fil-A or Quick Trip?
Chick-fil-A.
Lake or ocean?
Lake.
Bench or squat?
Squat.
Chicken or steak?
Chicken.
Fans or teammates?
Teammates.
Booze or beers?
Booze.
Queso or chocolate?
Queso.
Wife or kids?
No.
Dang it! I was going for it.
No, you tried to lull him into that.
I was going for it. You're good. You're good. All right, last one. This is always my random question that I always like to ask. Living the life that you've lived, if you're reincarnated into something, what would it be?
Wow. What would it be?
I have an idea for you.
You do.
I'm gonna let you answer first, then I'll give you my idea.
I'm going to let you answer.
you, not for me.
Then I'm going to play God.
Then I'll tell you what you're coming back at.
I would say just a cherried out about 68 Roadrunner with a big old scoop on the back, probably like a lime green color, big old rims.
Nice.
427.
Hell yeah.
You're coming back as the car?
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's like Christine. It's like Stephen King style.
The right answer for
I'm
you.
not only coming for you, I'm gonna catch your ass.
Oh.
Damn.
The right answer for you, based off this podcast, was Miller Lite. Now,
I didn't know we were doing
need to
inanimate
restart
objects.
because I was thinking, I don't have no idea what I wanted to
Tastes great, less filling. That's all I can tell
Bingo.
you. There
That's
you go.
great. There it is, Mr. Miller Lite, Mr. Super Bowl, Mr. 3-time everything except for Pro Bowl, 4-time. Dear friend and just a kick-ass dude. If you ever run into him, he definitely will shake your hand and talk to you. It is the Mr. Randy Cross, former 49er, broadcaster now, and our special guest here today on the Yeah Come On Show, brought to you by Oxygen Financial. Thanks again, Randy.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.